Welcome to the Khyber Pass podcast. This episode, I talk with Crystal Myslajek. Multi-instrumentalist, composer, and improviser. She performed at the Khyber Pass in duo with Liz Draper, upright bass player. In the spirit of transparency and full disclosure, my first interview with her, I did not properly record. So she was kind enough to give it a second shot. So the second interview is what is being presented in this episode. I have a short clip of their performance with Crystal on keyboard and voice, Liz on double bass. That'll be followed directly by the interview I am your host, Paul Metzger, interviewing improvisers, exploring where they come from, what happens inside of them, how they got where they are, what the difference between thinking and doing is. Hopefully, it can be interpreted as encouragement to others that improvisation is something that I believe is innate. As always, this podcast is brought to you by the Khyber Pass Cafe, located in St. Paul, Minnesota, on Grand Avenue, providing an ambiance conducive to well-being and a menu to satisfy. And now we'll move into the musical recording and interview with Crystal Myslajek. this,
Okay.
then it's working.
Okay.
God, I really fucked that up. And so this is kind of cool because I'll just kind of go a little questions into what we spoke of earlier. I'm real sorry we had technology trouble, which is a sort of a soft way of saying that I made a mistake. So this is our second interview for the same evening. You just played your duo set, and now it's the interim is over, and you can hear little sounds of the quartet. I'd like to get back to you as an 8-year-old, piano lesson world for you. I'd like to just back up a little bit from that in time to before piano lessons a little bit, just like, 7 or something. So you're like in 2nd grade or whatever.
Yeah.
So what are you doing?
Oh, I don't even really remember. That's why when you asked me earlier about myself before, I played music, and I just have a hard time remembering. I mean, what I was like.
So 2nd grade is
well, I mean, I don't know. I think I was probably, it's a bit fuzzy. I mean,
So where are you at? Are you a Minnesota person, or do you come from
I'm a Minnesota
other places?
Person. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And so, I guess, I was in 2nd grade when I was 7. And I remember studying dinosaurs.
Oh, you did?
It's my biggest memory. Is like what I learned in 2nd grade was
to the point of kind of digging it. Like, did you have favorite dinosaurs and all that kind of thing? And
I was actually afraid of dinosaurs, which makes no sense. But I somehow
it does, because they're frightening.
Yeah, and I somehow thought maybe because adults get things wrong, and so I thought adults are probably wrong and dinosaurs are probably coming back.
That's still true.
So I think I had probably, I guess I was to describe myself, probably unnecessarily stressed out and fearful about things that probably didn't need to be. And I don't know if that's typical of kids that age, but
sure.
I might have been like worried about growing up and moving out of my parents' house when I was 7.
Oh, no,
I don't know, that kind of person.
Oh, cool,
so,
yeah.
Or having like sleep troubles because I just be up all night.
Yeah.
Kind of person.
Yeah.
So,
So sleep trouble, that's interesting, because I've had other cats talk about about that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
And although it's obviously a difficult thing to live with,
yes,
I think it can open up certain parts of your mind in a way. Like, do you find that to be the case for you?
I don't know. I mean, yes, I think. There's enough. I've heard enough about all the damage not getting enough sleep can do to you.
I'm not talking about that.
Yeah, but I do think I have, in some of my creativity, I sometimes have drawn from my insomnia, like the experiences or the thoughts I've had during my insomnia or that kind of stuff. I draw from that for like lyrics and things like that. Kind of the concepts around it, like things that I'm experiencing during that, or like the unnecessary experience of it, or things like that. So maybe it has opened my mind in some ways. In a way, I guess if I had to choose between the two, though, I'd choose to sleep more. But
oh, hell yeah. I just have a feeling with myself, and having talked to some other musicians that are like that. I really think it opens up a certain part of the mind to have that sort of idle, awake, and alone time, because it's at night, usually, and it, as frustrating as it can be, there's something kind of magical about it.
Yeah, I like to think of maybe try to find positives in that aspect that I've experienced. So, or maybe it's a product of needing that additional time, and you're not finding it during the day, and so you need that additional time to sort stuff out whatever it is that you're trying to sort out.
Yeah.
Or for me, and that I'm not doing that enough in the day. I'm not sure. But I've definitely struggled with it since I was a child, which is frustrating. So yeah, that's one thing I do remember. I started off saying I don't remember much, and I don't remember that much, but I do remember that.
Yeah, that's significant.
But sometimes I think we maybe choose to remember some of the things that really stand out, either that were great or that scared us. And
yeah.
So, but it's not like I was a frightful child all the time and afraid or anything.
Right.
But I would say that was part of my character.
Yeah, I think that's real common. So then you're the eldest of four, and your mom was sort of leading the way for piano lessons, and so that was like your introduction to an instrument and the whole sort of concept. And so that was around you're 8 years old. Do you remember like practicing? Like, would your mom need to remind you and make you, or you had that obsession maybe?
No, I was
keep
more.
on it?
What I remember is that my mom would have to ask me to stop playing. And she was really nice, and she would say, but it was like pretty dorky, like I was playing like like Disney tunes or something on the piano, or whatever, from like movies or whatever. I would just play like some kind of pop songs from the whatever 80s or 90s or something. Just be like sad, dramatic music.
I think so. Yeah.
That it really spoke to me, at that age. I was like, it was probably like around 10 or 11, where I'd be like, she'd be like a lot, my mom would come down and she'd say, my mom was a fantastic person and so supportive, and she'd say, I love that you're practicing, but we're all gonna have to go to bed.
Yeah.
And I'd look around like, okay, fine, and then I would go and journal with the like flashlight over my head.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And then I would stay up too late doing that and find something
That's pretty
else.
sweet story, actually.
Yeah.
Like she's so into it that it clicked for you.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen with everybody that has a piano lesson, and then, but then to try to preface it like, I love all that you're doing all this shit, but I gotta.
Yeah, everyone's going to bed.
Sleep, man.
Everyone be in bed, and she'd come down to tell me like, oh, everyone's in bed. I didn't realize. As I'm playing, Land Before Time theme song for like like literally like cartoon theme songs.
Sure. Yeah, I get it.
And I play that maybe for the 100th time that night or something.
Yeah.
And then.
Well, you
and not necessarily well. I would just play it.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah. You're not saying like. Other than you love doing it, you were in it, and you were.
Yeah, exactly.
Can you remember like what that felt like? Where you were like as you're playing it for the 100th time, like where was you? Can you remember your emotions or your head at that spot? Like.
Vaguely. I mean, I think I remember. I don't even know how to put words to it.
Yeah.
There's like this like sort of melodramatic side of me or something that I'd channel into that, just really feeling it.
Did it have to do with the movie or whatever
No,
it was from?
It wasn't what it was from, just the sound.
Yeah.
So be like, I mean, literally, like my musical taste was not sophisticated. It'd be like, what was that song? Oh, Bette Midler's like "Wind Beneath My Wings" song that she made famous. This is like an era of not,
I totally dig it, man, because that stuff is great. There's like a triumphant quality. Yeah. The emotions are a lot more less subtle, so that you can really throw yourself in.
And that really spoke to me when I was like maybe 11. Yeah. It was just like where I was at,
and so you would just sort of want to be inside all that.
Yeah. The drama of the lyrics and everything. So that's what I remember is just really, and I had like a lot of drama in my head going on while I play. I'd be like imagining, I think I would be like imagining I'm performing or like, playing it much better than I was, or you know, it's like my imagination kind of taking over while I was doing it. So I do remember those feelings.
And then you found yourself saving up money to get a guitar.
Yeah.
And we wanted to ask about that, like, what was it like that put that in your mind to want that guitar? Because that's coming from you, rather than the piano lessons were like an external idea. And then you felt like you knew someone who played, or where were you seeing it as an instrument that you connected to?
I mean, and the piano lessons definitely were not forced. It wasn't like, here's this thing you have to do. It was very casual. So my experience, some people are like, oh, I've been playing piano since I was 8. It's not like I've been playing, like, you know, in a very organized, official, formal way.
Yeah,
but
I can
so
dig it,
I don't remember just loving music and wanting to play guitar and thinking guitar sounded amazing. And I just,
where were you hearing it? Like you would...
I don't know, just everywhere. The radio, any song, you know, any pop song, anything. And then I had a friend whose dad was a guitarist who was like I think this is like it's hard for me to parse out which was legend and which was not, you know, but that his dad was a studio musician and played with like all these famous musicians, but sadly had suffering from diabetes and was losing his fingers. It was very sad. But he was teaching his son to play. And they had a whole kind of like mythology around it, and it was kind of like, you can't play, actually, to me, or something. Like my friend was. He was very, but it was a lot of emotion tied in there. Like you think it was like a guitar's my thing, but so that was my one friend, but it doesn't sound very friendly. Actually, I think I'm like that wasn't a very nice friend, but someone I spent time with, and he played, but was sort of possessive about it. So he did come with me to help me pick out a guitar. Not that he really.
Oh hell yeah, yeah! But still, you gotta.
I wanted a friend, and then, but he, I think, was sort of maybe threatened by me learning or something. But that wasn't really where it came from. I just, you know, loved hearing music and wanted to play. But maybe that might have been, if I think about it, the only person I knew in my periphery, close friend who was even playing guitar at all. But they're like, I think I got that right. I don't remember. It's a little hazy.
So you went and picked that up?
Yeah, Guitar Center in Roseville.
Oh, wow. So are you a St. Paul
No,
person,
I grew up in the suburbs of Champlain and Maple Grove.
Oh, okay.
Twin Cities,
right.
Or Minneapolis.
Got
yeah. But I went there, and then.
What was it for a guitar?
How much did I pay?
No. What was it a nylon string or
a steel string guitar?
Electric?
A steel string guitar, yeah. And
Acoustic?
I don't ever play it. It's acoustic. Acoustic steel string guitar. And then what I actually play now, when I do play, is this. I don't even know what the heck it is, but Joel Payton, who I played with in the Notwells, he's a luthier, and he found when he was studying in Red Wing, he found a guitar in the parking lot that was smashed, and he fixed it. And it's small. I don't know. See, I'm not like a real guitarist because I don't know anything about guitars except it's smaller, and it has nylon strings on it, and it's just really the scale's a little bit shorter, like short scale. Is that what it's called? Or like it's just easier to play.
I can picture it.
And it's been completely rebuilt, but he sold it to me for $20, which doesn't really make sense. And I didn't really kind of get that he probably. Like how much it was probably worth, or he was just being really nice and would like give things to us.
I love that $20, man. Because he just wants to he's making it official.
Yeah.
Like this is now your guitar.
Yeah. It was awesome because now
but he's not
I don't play the one that I got from Guitar Center. I play this awesome one that you can barely hear. It's very quiet, but it just feels so good to play.
Yeah.
So that's what.
So that's your main cat.
When I do, I mean, very rarely these days.
I hear you.
But yeah, that's what I like to play.
And that was something that you would play on your own sort of through your early 20s it sounded like a very experimental sort of not thinking about what you would do with it. But I was thinking about that, like, did that ever turn into something down the road? Would you ever stumble across something in those moments and then kind of log it in your mind, or
not so much, and I wish I would have. And then from some friends of mine, I wrote a song for them for their wedding based on that kind of style of playing, and that's the only thing that because I kind of formalized it into an actual song, that style's still there. I can kind of get back to it, but I haven't developed any of those other things at all.
But you did with the one tune, though.
Yeah, it was just that one thing.
And it was born out of that sort of...
That approach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty great, because then you have that, that one... Yeah. I'm very intrigued by that, like...
So just subtly, though. So I should do more with it. I keep thinking one of these days I'll play more, but.
And that's never been part of your performance side, it sounds like.
Yeah, I just haven't felt confident, or I just haven't. I don't know. I don't actually know why, because I think, like I was saying earlier, it's been the slow trajectory for me to figure out where I'm going, or not where I'm going. Not that it has to be going somewhere or trying to arrive somewhere, but understanding my approach to music, or where I fit, or what. Not where I fit, but like just coming into myself more with music.
Yeah.
It's been a really slow. I feel like just a very slow, late bloomer. Like, okay. It was about 3 years ago or something. It's like, okay, I finally feel like I have come into a place I want to be with piano, and I don't even feel like I'm there anymore. That's hard to explain for me, because I think because of all this, like trying to force myself into being a different kind of musician than I am, and not being good at not being who I am, and so it's just this slow process of.
That is an interesting process, especially in music, when once you have a certain amount of ability, you can apply that to a lot of different maybe styles or settings, and not all of them are going to feel like you know. And the difference between something like that and something that really resonates with you, it's almost like you're doing two completely unrelated activities.
Yeah, it's true. It is true. And so it's like sometimes I've been working on something so hard, and then I realize, it's just right next to me, what I've been trying to do, and I couldn't see it because I was trying to be something I wasn't, or trying to make something that wasn't really me, or trying to conform to a way and so it maybe gets into a deeper thing of just self, and it connects to that. If that makes sense?
It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I mean, with the Shakespeare guy, to thine own self be true, like lays that as like a key bit of advice to someone who's looking for that, and it just says that, be true to yourself, like.
But then that's the thing, is you can say that to somebody, but it's not so easy. Even though it sounds so easy, you have to discover that on your own. I just really believe that you do, and it's
absolutely.
And I could logically think myself into that space, but it isn't really there until it's different than logic.
It's easier said than done.
For sure.
Without a doubt. But it's a truth, and but everybody's on their own path to get there, and it's real tricky. It's a tricky business. So then that would kind of take things to where I first heard you playing was in the trio Brute Heart. And maybe you would want to talk about that a little bit more.
Sure.
What the trio was and your place in it.
Yeah, so I played bass guitar in Brute Heart with Jackie Becky played viola, and Crystal Brickman played drums, and Jackie and I both did a lot of vocalizing together, kind of layering vocals and stuff, and that was really catalytic for me, I would say, just kind of seeing myself differently with music, or not seeing myself, but just kind of discovering different ways of approaching music, and in terms of in a really creative way, and having a platform for that, and finding a platform and building confidence to. Because I think I had played in different bands and stuff, but for some reason when we played that first show, I felt like I was going to fall off the stage. I was just like petrified. Like I literally was like, oh my God, I'm going to fall off this stage. Like literally I'm too close to the edge. I'm going to fall off.
Where was that coming from, do you think?
What's it called? The Uptown Bar that's not there anymore. We played our first show there. And I literally was like, I'm going to fall off the stage. I'm so petrified. And I was like singing into the mic, but like looking backwards because I couldn't handle looking at the audience. And
so where was that fear coming from? Because like you said, you had played in other combos and played out. But...
I think because I hadn't really had much experience playing bass guitar.
Okay.
And then singing at the same time as playing bass guitar was hard for me to do, and the stuff was so spare that we were doing at first. So I felt so exposed. We're like very intricately exposed, and it would work sometimes, but suddenly if you're in front of an audience, we're second guessing ourselves, and so it was just more challenging for me in that way. And, but I definitely
that's the thing I was drawn to, was the starkness of that, as a listener, and then as a musician, I liked it that you guys seemed like a band, like a group. Of cats, rather than you can get in combos that don't feel like that, don't feel like an actual band where you go fuck around.
Yeah.
Together.
We definitely were committed as a group, or I felt that way, and I felt very much like we wanted all the instruments to be very much integrated, and not want all the we didn't want a structure in which it was like supporting backing instruments that were accompanying a certain melodic voice, but be that, we weren't bass and drums supporting viola solos, because the way Jackie was playing was doing a lot of pizzicato, a lot of looping with rhythms and stuff, a lot of rhythmic interplay and stuff, and same with the vocals. We didn't want it to be, here's a band that's backing vocals. We have, verse, chorus, verse. We really wanted to try something, and this is what I thought we were doing, is like trying something where everything was very much, and this isn't, maybe I'm making it sound like it's super novel, and it's not necessarily, but that's just what we were trying to create, and always trying to make something that sounded, unusual or something.
I think that came through.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So we would be like, that sounds too normal, or that sounds too catchy. That'd be like, sounds too catchy. That'd be like a problem for us.
Yeah, I see. Too catchy. Yeah. So what do you remember? Like, were there musical influences? That was something I was always curious about.
With the group? Oh yeah, there was a lot. I feel like I'm not going to be fair and remember all the musical influences that I had at the time. I mean, I would say like we were really inspired by this group, or mostly it was one woman, White Magic. But we didn't really end up sounding like her. She did a lot of more like repetitive keyboard stuff, and really dark.
But
stuff.
I mean, like inspiration can come from a juggler,
And I mean, there was tons of stuff going on at that time. This was like 2007, like a lot of kind of more punk stuff. There was a band out of Portland that was like, I don't remember what they were called, but it was, and we didn't even sound like us, but just violin and bass and drums.
And you had those records, or were these?
I didn't have their. I did not have their record. Jackie had a tape of theirs or something. I don't remember what they're called. And like just a lot of stuff that was going on locally. I was inspired by hanging out on the West Bank and stuff, and just like kind of music scene there. I was inspired by just a lot of people around me. Like I just want to do justice to that. It's not a lot of, I think, what we make as artists and musicians. We had to pay respect to our peers.
Sure.
For sure. It's not like we were copying each other necessarily, but I was so inspired by all the musicians around me, I would say.
Yeah, I totally dig what you're saying. I mean, the idea of inspiration doesn't mean, copying or adoration, or it's just someone's doing something can make you want to do something.
Yeah.
It can be that simple, really. But
I feel like this era, and again, it's easy to glorify your own personal past or certain times, but Jackie and I were talking recently about this sort of era around like 2007, 2008, 2009 when we were starting what we were doing. And that was a real high point in my mind of what was going on in the Twin Cities and Minneapolis, with so many venues that were supporting artists and musicians doing all kinds of creative stuff, like Bedlam Theater, and there was I'm gonna forget all the different, but so many have recently closed. So very recently, we have Patcher's Cabaret has closed, Red Eye Theater has lost their space. We have Soul Factory. I don't know what's gonna happen with them. And then all the more DIY spaces. Yeah. It takes a lot of energy to hold those together, and rent's going up. So there's not as many, like all these other places that people could run. It's been harder to do that, I think, for the kind of people who are not playing stadium shows. Not playing, small spaces that are supportive of that. So I really want to honor that, because I think I didn't realize it at the time as much, and maybe took it for granted.
It was a big part of that time for me. Like all those places you're mentioning. I remember the Acadia on Franklin.
Oh yeah.
And Nicollet. As well. Like there were lots of options for what I would just call weirdo music.
Yeah,
for
exactly.
For the bigger term, like. And it seemed like a real nice time then. And the nature of that has always been like, sort of they pop up and then they float away. And then you can be like, oh man, that was pretty good.
That was pretty good. And I'm not saying it's not good now. I would say I'm sort of out of touch because, as I was mentioning earlier, I have a baby. And I have a 1-year-old and a 5-year-old. And so life has been a little, I don't get out as much as I want, and don't get out to support other musicians as much as I would like, and so there's a lot going on that I'm not aware of right now. Sure. So it's easier for me to say, oh, back then it was so great, but there were.
Well, it is true though.
Yeah.
There are a lot. That was like a high point for venue options. That sort of era, in my opinion, and then now it's a little bit rougher to find a place that feels good and. I think so. I'd agree with that absolutely. So then, you have a solo piano recording that you're finishing tomorrow.
Yes, I'm not lying. Like literally tomorrow.
You have to.
I have to finish it. My husband John Marks is helping me with the recording and the mixing, and we both agree it has to be done tomorrow, just in terms of time. It was supposed to be done actually before the baby came, but I had some other projects that came up, like music projects and different things, and then it takes a lot of energy to grow a baby.
Does it?
Yes, it does. I turned on, like my brain just felt very, like there's a lot going on, and then and then having a baby, it's like I forget, and it was really hard, so I was been slowly finishing up, but I think it's literally tomorrow's our day that we're gonna mix it and finish it up. Yeah. So I'm excited to release that into the world.
And so, what is that like when you being at that point with that project? What does that feel like for you?
To be finishing it?
Yeah.
Good. I mean, I think I have to kind of just let go. It's more of a process of letting go, and working completely alone is something that's newer for me. I'm just generally an extrovert and a social person, and most of my music has been with other people to some degree, and without a lot of people to kind of set parameters for me, because if I'm working with people, I might be like, let's just move on to the next song, or that's dumb, let's stop that part, or that's too repetitive, or this is great, continue it on. Without that, I'm just in this echo chamber in my head, and I don't know where to stop, and I don't know where to go, and so it's been a real learning process for me to work alone. And I'm also been learning about letting go too. And so it's more of a process of letting go. So good. in
that time, in that recording process and composing, would there be musical influences things that have been that you've been checking out?
Yeah, I mean, there's so much, and I was thinking about how with the internet and listening online, sadly, sometimes there's so many things that I don't even know. Hi. there's so many musicians out there making great stuff that I don't even know that much about them or remember their names.
Sure.
I'll just listen to them on SoundCloud or something. Sadly,
Uh-huh.
not sadly. I'm glad to have the opportunity to find them.
Absolutely.
So there's a ton out there, and I'm really inspired by. I think what's been a challenge for me is the stuff I'm inspired by is not the stuff that comes naturally to me, which is the stuff that is really spacious and really open and maybe more in improv and breathes a lot. And but then I still may be back in my 8-year-old self trying to learn how to play faster or something like that. And I still am trying to shed that aspect. So even with this project, that's why it took me so long to feel like arriving at a place where I felt like I could finish, because I had this kind of the things that were inspiring me, and then what was coming naturally to me, which is more the playing too fast and not listening or whatever. So that's what. But I would say
like the two main things.
Yeah.
That I think everybody struggles with.
Yeah, and that's been a struggle for me. So those things I really love. So are you asking like specific musicians or?
No, that's good. I mean, or what? So were these piano recordings? Was it other solo?
Piano recordings, or so like for instance, I really love this musician, Ian William Craig, who's a vocalist, and he's done all this stuff with tape looping, and it's just amazing. I love it. I hear I'm so inspired by it. I want to make stuff like it, and then when it's not naturally what comes natural to me at all. So then it's not like I want to exactly emulate it, but I'm inspired by it.
Dig.
And then I get in the studio, and that's not what comes naturally to me at all. And so then I have this kind of tug of war in my brain where it's like, what am I trying to do here? Because what I make isn't really kind of what I'm trying to do. And so that is even piano. And then here I'm trying to make a piano record, being inspired by a vocalist, but I am putting vocals in my music. So it's been an interesting process for me of just a challenging process, but a growing process. And so
it sounds like the input, what I would call input, musical influence. It sounds like you're at a point where that's what you aspire toward, but like you talk about your 8-year-old self, maybe that rooting you want to soften and head toward that. And that's a real interesting place for a musician to be, I think.
Yeah.
Transition toward something and away from something. That's very, wow. How does it feel like to be finishing that, and where do you think you came to between those two kind of poles?
Well, I think I'm finding sort of maybe discovering my musical voice, not like my literal voice, but sort of more so, like another level of discovery. And I don't think I'll ever fully arrive there, but I'm kind of figuring out where those two things blend, like my kind of the innate things, and they're not so innate, but they're ingrained into me, and my tendencies, and then what I like to listen to are kind of different things, and so I'm figuring out ways to merge them. And I'm also just in this place of discovery of like just letting go. It's hard to explain, but like it's just music, like it's so important, and yet it's just, I don't know how to explain it. Like
I think you're doing it.
Yeah, also it's like that's a sound in time that's hanging there in space, and then I'll move on to the next thing. It doesn't have to, even though recording it kind of puts this, and putting it out the world and say, here's our recording I did. And it puts a certain emphasis of formality around it, and then I think that that's okay though. You can just put that out there and then keep going. You don't have to live in that space forever in the past of this recording you did.
That's the thing that I like about making recordings too. Like it can help you. I kind of look at it as like maybe framing a painting. Like, okay, this is done. I'm gonna call that done now.
Yeah,
and that helps you to sort of turn the page and free up your that part of yourself that does work like that to start toward a new thing. I think that's a really cool space to be in.
It is. It feels good to move on because there's a lot of other things I want to do, and I couldn't do the other things I want to do, like focus on the stuff with Liz that I'm doing that we played tonight.
Dig.
Just my head can only handle so many things at a time, and so just free up more space for new moving on. So
So let's talk. We'll just toward the end here, and talk about you played this evening in duo, and then I recorded a small clip of it, and then if you just wanted to talk about a little bit about what the project is and where you see it heading and that kind of shit.
So it's really new. It's Liz Draper playing upright bass and looping it. And then me playing keyboards, piano sounds, and synthy organ sounds, and vocal looping. And we're calling it Shama Devora. And we just is our second show. And it's very much improv, a combination of some set ideas that we worked out and then improvising on them. And where I see it going is I would like to just develop it more. I mean, we're in the beginning processes of it, but I really like working with Liz. We played in a band years ago called Carp Scale Orchestra, and that was a short-lived project. But I've always really, I just, I really value playing with her, and I think she's incredible, and so I'm excited to work with her more.
Oh, cool.
Wow. So I think really doing a lot of layering and kind of holding some tones, and I'm playing a lot of synth stuff that actually almost sounds like double bass, so kind of almost like a string feel that, we're just exploring, I would say.
Yeah, it became like one of those things that is difficult to discern because she's playing upright and then looping it, and then sometimes your keyboard would have that same approach as a bowed instrument, and then not knowing where things are, which is pretty great for an audience member, of like where things get sort of swimmy. Is that?
Well, that's how I even felt, because I'm literally talking like, I hit the key and I'm like, I know what this is supposed to sound like, but it turns out she's playing the exact same note as I am on the bass, and the tones are just mingling so much, and the attack set was like a really slow attack on the synth sound, and so that like, I can't hear what I'm playing. Oh, it's because she's playing the same thing. Okay, so I am playing. I know I'm playing this note. It's just like a little disorienting at times.
You have to look at your hand and
I'm like,
wait a minute.
And then she'll kind of, decay on the bass. I'm like, okay, there's that tone. Okay, I am playing.
I think that's a cool space, man. I can dig that.
Yeah, so we're just exploring. It's fun. I mean, just experimenting and really trying to listen, and both of us are both in the same space. We're trying to figure out how to create more space.
Sure.
And that's just like you said, all the musicians, so many musicians are in there, like playing too many notes. How do we play less notes?
All right, Crystal, that was great, and thanks for playing here tonight at the Khyber, and for doing 2 interviews with me, because I didn't push the button properly for the first one. But I think this was great. So
thank you for having me. I'm honored to be here. Truly.
All right,
I love this room.
I
love this room.
All right, well, we'll see you next time. The Khyber Pass Podcast. You just heard from Crystal Myslajek, interviewed for her musicianship and story on an evening that she performed live at the Khyber Pass Cafe Thursday Night Music Series. It's a room conducive to deep playing. There's an attentiveness that the audience brings. That can be very inspiring for the musicians. It's a listening room. I'm thankful that Crystal was willing to do the interview and to become part of what this podcast is and is becoming. I am your host, Paul Metzger. And as always, this podcast is made possible by the generous support of the Khyber Pass Cafe, bringing you adventures in improvisation on Thursday evenings. St. Paul, Minnesota. I'd like to thank you, the listener, for spending your time and attention listening to what's presented here in the podcast. Stay tuned for next week's episode.